Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Now NHL, local experts weighing in on the biggest stories on the ice. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. We've got our Locked On NHL hosts here to recap the playoff action for you from Tuesday. We are going to start out with the second round and a pair of games yesterday where the Avalanche and the Blues needed an extra period to decide their game one in Tuesday's biggest game.
The biggest game.
The Avalanche and their fans are definitely happy after taking a Game 1 overtime win at home against the Blues, but our Locked On Avalanche host says it should have been easier than it was. Tells you how Colorado played, and they explain everything post-game.
So far, this postseason is mimicking last postseason where the Avalanche have won 5 straight games in this postseason. Last year it was 6, and we all know how that ended. We don't want to have a repeat of that. But as far as game 1 goes in round 2 against the St. Louis Blues, the Avalanche dominated in every facet of the game, but they needed overtime and an overtime winner by Josh Manson of all people to take this game 3-2 in overtime against the Blues.
It was your perfect definition of puck luck versus statistical dominance. The Avalanche dominated the stats. Puck luck helped the Blues through the game. Bennington got hot at the end, but the unlikely hero, Josh Manson, winning it in overtime is exactly what the Avalanche needed to take game 1.
Yeah, a lot of people think this one could go the distance, and this is what makes hockey and playoff hockey amazing, because as dominant as the Avalanche were, St. Louis was really never out of this game, and just one bounce, and we could be talking about 1-0 series for the Blues. But it didn't go that way. The Avalanche start the series exactly how they needed to, getting a 1-0 lead in the series, and game 2 takes place, same place in Ball Arena on Thursday.
For the second straight series, the President's Trophy winners gave up the home ice advantage in game 1. The Panthers lost by 3 to the reigning champion Lightning, and our Locked On Panthers host now has to figure out how Florida can fight from behind again.
Special teams cost the Panthers this game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. What is up, guys? This is Armando Velez from the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, and the Florida Panthers dropped their first game of this best-of-7 series against the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning by a final score of 4-1, losing home ice advantage already after one game. And with 14 penalty infraction minutes and giving the Tampa Bay Lightning 6 power play opportunities, the Florida Panthers were putting themselves in a bad position when they were out of position, causing them the penalties, a few high stick calls and a few lack of composure penalties as well for the Cats as well. That's what caused the Florida Panthers to have so many of being down a man in this one. And the Tampa Bay Lightning score on 3 of the 6. And that was the recurring theme last year when the Tampa Bay Lightning went 40% on the power play in their round 1 series the year before. So something's got to change. And the power play as well for the Panthers, now 0 for 21 in the postseason, 0 for 3 tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Something's got to change. And we got a lot to talk about as far as that, because if this continues for the Florida Panthers where they're having an 0 for on the man advantage, then they're not going to come out of this series against the two-time Stanley Cup champions. So listen to my recap of this 4-1 loss against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Make sure to join me and Jacob Winans on the Winans Wednesday edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Your first listen of the day.
That's all for today on Locked On Now NHL. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Make sure you check out Locked On NHL and your team's Locked On podcast, especially now during these playoff runs. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Now.